educational for cosplayers, new, young, and old. Speaking of, one more question before we end this. Back to you, Creepy Mama. What kind of advice would you want to give to someone who wants to get into cosplay, and when it comes to picking their first cosplay?
The best advice I can give, do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Do what makes you happy. And thrifting is perfectly fine. Inspiration, like inspired by cosplays, are perfectly fine. OCs are perfectly fine. If you're happy, you're not hurting anybody, and it makes you feel good about the media that makes you happy, do it.
Today's Cosplay Con Talk episode is sponsored by Moco Queen Color Contacts. Don't forget to use my code Wayne for 10% off at checkout at mocoqueen.com. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
How's everyone? Wayne Lino here, and welcome. There we go. How's everyone? Wayne Lino here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk. We basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. I am once again joined by some guests you've may not seen in a while. Both have been on for separate cosplayer interviews. Real quick before we begin, would you both care to introduce yourself, starting with Creepy Mama?
Hi, I'm Creepy Mama. I'm a cosplay mom.
And I'm Cryptic Soda. I specialize in horror.
Ooh. Real quick, Creepy Mama, how long have you been? Since it's been a while since you've been on here, how long have you been cosplaying for now?
So I've been cosplaying for 20 plus years. I'm also a special effects and makeup artist, haunt actor, and manager of haunted attractions, and I've been doing that for about 15 years.
Nice. So kind of a theme going on. Both of you specialize in horror themed cosplays. Very nice. So I guess for those who know, tonight's podcast panel, we will be discussing what it's like picking your cosplay, whether it be for your first time cosplayer trying to figure out what you want to cosplay, to a seasoned cosplayer who's been doing this for a long time and they have so many cosplays that they don't know what to choose from, or if also, I guess, talk about picking a new cosplay, a cosplay you've never done before, but you want to see what it's like. Um, so to begin, starting with you, Creepy Mama, how do you go about picking your cosplays, whether it be for like a cosplay photo shoot at a convention? Like, what's the process?
So, speaking con wise, I usually try and gravitate towards whoever the guests are. Like, if, say, Chris Waycamp is there, I will obviously pull out my Aizawa cosplay. The themes of the cons help too. So, like horror conventions, I have quite a few horror characters I can do. I just did PAX East, where I focused more on game related cosplays. So, it goes by either theme or guest.
And what about you, Cryptic? Same question. How do you go about choosing your cosplays and everything?
It kind of also depends on the convention theme as well, but I base mine so much more off the weather that convention and also like what is uh, currently popular within my own fan circle.
Nice. And well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you're up here in the Pacific Northwest as well, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So yeah, you're like you really have to, because one day it could be nice and sunny, the other it could be raining, or it could be snowing.
No, literally, there is a con this weekend that I'm going to. I'm going to Lilac City Comic Con, and I do not have a costume picked out for day 2 yet because I have no idea what the weather's going to be like. So,
Guys, give me a minute. I need to pause this real quick. I need to respond.
In the world is fine.
All right, all right. So, all right. Back to you, creepy. Um, do you remember what the first cosplay you ever chose to do was? What made you decide on picking your first cosplay when you first got into this? It's like your first
Absolutely.
convention, and Like, okay, what cosplay do I pick?
Mm,
What do I have? What's the budget? Stuff like that.
my first cosplay. Please be careful. Okay, so my first ever cosplay was based off of a character that I don't scare easily. And I went to go see a movie in theaters, and this character genuinely like unnerved me and got a jump scare out of me. So my very first costume cosplay was the Jackal from 13 Ghosts, and I still have
Oh, the head. Oh yeah.
this. This is a good talking point. It's real steel. Don't be stupid like me.
What
Don't
made
be an
you
idiot.
decide
I make
to
it out of
what made you decide to pick the Jackal from, again, a really good movie, by the way. What made you decide to pick the Jackal as your first cosplay?
he genuinely like jump scared me and unsettled me when I was watching the movie in theaters, and I was like, nope, I need to be that. And thus I went out, I found somebody who took measurements of my head and shoulders, and that was hand welded to specifically fit me.
Jeez, that movie came out over 20 years ago. I think it was like early
That's good.
2000. Young Matthew Lillard, Tony Shalhoub, and all those characters back in the day. That's,
I mean, the good thing
I,
I
I,
can say
re-
is that Matthew Lillard called me insane for having made out of steel. So
I remember you
I
telling me. I remember you in your interview. You talked about that, and I think I remember you telling me it was made from real steel. Like, that's impressive.
heavy too.
Oh,
absolutely, it's not so bad
oh,
when you're walking around, but in something like that, people want pictures, so stopped for long periods of time. Oh yeah, no, you feel it the next day.
oh yeah. Um, Same question for you, Cryptic. What was the first cosplay you ever picked and chose to do?
Um, okay, I kind of have two answers to this because my first ever like cosplay was one of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. Uh, and I was doing it for my friend who got me into cosplay, but like my first ever I chose it all by myself cosplay was Dipper Pines from Gravity Falls.
Dipper Pine. Oh yeah, I remember you talked about. I remember you talked about Dipper Pines. What
Yeah.
made you specifically pick and choose Dipper Pines?
I like after doing the Peter Pan thing with my friend, I knew that it was something that I really liked and that I really wanted to get into. But because I got into cosplay when I was like 10, so I knew that I was gonna go way in over my head if I chose something super hard and difficult, and like with the budget of $25, maybe. So me and my mom went to the thrift store, and I figured that was probably the easiest one to do at the time.
Nice. And now, you won't be able to see them, but you will be able to hear them. We're also joined by Creepy Mama's kid, Medium Human. Um, same, um, Same question for you, Medium Human. How do you go? What was your, like? What made you want to pick your first cosplay? Like, what was it? Like, what made you decide this is a character I want to pick and do for a con or an event?
I remember their first cosplay, so I can tell you what it was. But medium, what made you pick your first cosplay? Okay, so they were Lapis Lazuli from Steven Universe, and I had to full body paint them, and it was just because they liked Steven Universe. Yes, and we did make the dress in like a week. Well, at least I say we, but it was me.
And I forgot to ask, how long has Medium Human been cosplaying for now? I know last time I think it was like for a couple of years, I believe.
Now they're on what 8 years? You started cosplaying at 10? Yeah,
So
and they made
8 or 10 years.
8 years because they started cosplaying at 10. They're 18 now.
So there are 2 more years, then they'll be, as I call it, a cosplay veteran. You've been cosplaying for 10 plus years, and you've seen the change of cosplays and conventions. Like, they got the opportunity to cosplay before COVID.
They did, and oh my God, that means your brother the same thing because my son's first cosplay was when he was like a toddler. Technically, when they were Lapis Lazuli, Medium Human threw a Steven Universe shirt on him, and he was in his stroller. So it was the episode where Steven was fluctuating between child, adult, and his normal age, and he was child Steven. Super.
Now back to you, creepy mama. What is it like picking your cosplays? Like for you personally, do you have like a specific like specific style you like picking, characters you like picking, or are you just like oh this is what who I want to this is what I want to pick today?
So it has to be a character that resonates with me. Like with the Jackal, it was something that genuinely like got me to jump scare. Very little does that. I cosplay Aizawa and Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. I kind of feel like a connection with those characters for different reasons. Um, Winifred Sanderson, I think Bette Midler in that role is absolutely hilarious. And being the older sister, I'm like, yep, nope, I feel her pain. So like the characters have to have some type of meaning to me.
Nice. I may go away here for a bit. I just got to resend the link to someone. I do apologize. All right, we are resumed. Some technical difficulties. Hopefully, the other guests will be back. But yeah, as I'm gonna have to edit a lot for this. But as you were saying, Cryptic, how do you go about picking your cosplays? Like, what makes you like pick that specific cosplay for that specific con?
I already said that like if it's something I'm making, I have to have like a really big connection to the character. But for like specific cons, honestly, a lot of it relies on again the weather and what my current fan base is wanting from me. So the past like 4 conventions, I have taken a Resident Evil character to cons, and the last 3 I have taken the RE4 modded version of Leon Kennedy when he's with the crop top. He's coming to me again this weekend. So
I've seen your crop top Leon
yes,
on your Insta from Resident Evil 4, and that's just and I can't wait to see Leon again at con.
it's my favorite.
Do you plan? Do you now? I gotta ask. Do you plan on bringing any of your Resident Evil characters to Con this year?
Yes, I'm bringing Crop Top Leon again to KomoriCon, and I'm gonna try to participate in the 18 plus lip sync with him. Um, and yeah, so whatever day that falls on, he'll be there.
Nice. And then
Sad I can't witness this in person. That sounds amazing.
I'm so sorry.
you and Creepy Mommy, if you medium human and tiny human ever get the chance to come here to Oregon for a convention, I highly recommend it.
We do travel. So far, the furthest we've gone is Georgia to go visit friends and now adopted family via TikTok.
Hopefully, y'all can come over here someday for a con. That'd be pretty cool.
We want to hit almost every state if we can.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's that's every con goer's dream. And then same question for medium human. How do they go about picking their cosplays for a con? Like what goes through their brain and like, oh, I want to do this one today. Oh, I want to do this one today. Oh, I want to do this big one today.
Their autism. Basically, whatever their hyperfixation is, 9 times out of 10, that's what they're going to gravitate towards as far as what they're going to cosplay.
I don't go for what other people want. I go for what I want.
They don't go for what other people want. They go for what they want. Like, it doesn't even have to make a rhyme or reason. Like we went to Terrificon, which is a wide range of different genres, and they went as one of the ghouls from Ghost, the band Ghost.
Awesome.
Huh?
Nobody knows Killer Frequency, but I cosplay.
Yeah, no, they also cosplay a very niche character. It's the killer from Killer Frequency, which is a game basically nobody knows about.
I
But
think
Medium Human loves it.
I
I
know
think I've
about it.
seen
That's
I think
awesome.
I think I've seen you mention it on your TikTok before.
The Whistling Man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So real quick, as I do like bring in the other segments here. What is killer frequency?
Oh, hold on. All right. I'm going to give you the headphones. You're going to explain Killer Frequency because
I'm explaining the whole game.
well, you're going to explain basically what it is.
Just like a quick like recap of what killer frequency is.
Okay. So Killer Frequency is I don't even know how to explain it.
You're a radio DJ.
Yeah, you're the host of a radio show and you get a call from like the 911 operator essentially telling you that there is like some people are dead and you think it's a joke.
What's the
Until
DJ going to do?
yeah, because he's like this is a joke. But she ends up telling you that any call you get you have to help them to survive because she's making it so your phone number is now linked to 911. So anybody that dials 911 calls the radio show.
And they give you multiple options
And
to
they give
choose
you
from
multiple
instead of
options.
just
So
you
it's a
choose.
puzzle and a horror game and a slasher game, and
Ooh,
it's really fun. I like it.
that sounds like a fun game. I want to see if I
It
can't find. I
is.
imagine is that a
It had me
console
walking
game or is that like a
I've
PC game?
It's on Steam. I don't know if it's on anything else, but I know for a fact it's on Steam.
I will have to check that out. That honestly sounds fun.
It is super fun. I like it a lot.
All right, now I'm gonna go back to asking a question for your mom now.
Okay.
While I'm asking this question, I'm gonna go find out what the technical issue is here. Um, Creepy Mama. So you're on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken, correct? That was weird. And then all right, and then at the stage.
Oh,
Okay.
can you hear
Oh,
me?
hey, we can
Yay!
barely hear you.
Yo,
All right, so AJ,
sorry about
again,
that.
welcome on. I'm so sorry. I would have used Zoom, but I don't have the funds for the premium subscription for Zoom. So real quick, before we go back to the question of Scott's Creepy Mama, everyone, welcome AJ. AJ, real quick, if you like to care to introduce yourself.
Sure. I am AJ. You'll see me as probably Mini Jod Possum in the server. Um, I lurk around a lot, but I occasionally chime in. Um, I've been cosplaying since about 2018. Um, and I do a lot of convention staffing. And I am super late to this meeting. So,
It is. That's on. I try to get it sent out, and I should have been more specific. We'll get you. I'll get you caught up on the questions real quick.
all
So,
right.
as you know, we are going to be talking about what it's like picking your cosplay, whether it's for a convention, cosplay photo shoot, weather appropriate, how you go about picking your cosplay, stuff like that. So, first question, if you can remember, what was the first cosplay you ever picked? Like you chose, like the character you chose, like this is the character I want to choose. Want this to be my first cosplay.
Oh yeah. So my first official cosplay was for a group cosplay that I did back in 2018 at Rose City Comic Con. And they were doing a Doctor Who group, so I chose my favorite monster. I wasn't really into doing like the Doctor or Companion or TARDIS cosplays, so I chose whatever freaked me out the most.
I sense a theme going on here. Like everyone's first cosplay is like first picked cosplay is like a horror character. I'm all for it. And Doctor Who does have some creepy aliens. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. This one was the Flood from Waters of Mars.
I don't think I've. What Doctor is that?
It's a special. It's 10, but it's a bacteria in the water, and it takes you over
I
and
don't think
turns you into like a water zombie.
I don't think I got that far ahead with 10. You have to check that out. I remember showing me what the photo of what they look like, and yeah, those things are creepy, especially like the weird like vein things around their mouth.
Yeah, yeah, super cool. I really wanted to do like the whole 3D effect with like water pouring out of the mouth, but that wasn't going to happen, and cons tend to look down on that.
Hmm, true. Another question I ask, how do you go about picking your cosplay? Like, what makes you decide, oh, I want to pick this cosplay, or I want to pick this cosplay, or I want to. Oh, wait, yes, Creepy Mama? Everything okay? I saw you raise your hand.
I'm having serious audio issues.
Oh, we can
Oh,
hear
are
you
you?
just. We can you hear us just fine.
No, everything sounds like a really bad synth band.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Are you
Holy
using
crap.
Bluetooth headphones?
I am, and I swapped it to the microphone on my phone just to see, and both sound that way. But you're coming through clear now, so
Okay,
Okay, that was weird.
cool.
that was really
None
weird.
of this, for anyone watching, none of this shows, none of the stuff on the show is ever scripted. There's always going to be technical difficulties.
You can't script this stuff.
No, you can't. I mean, if you can, then I don't know what you're doing. But yes. Back to you, AJ. How do you go about picking your cosplay? Like, when you go into a con, oh, I want to pick this one. Oh, I want to pick this one. Oh, I want to pick this one. What goes through your creative brain on when it comes to picking your cosplay?
Yeah, so there are a lot of factors that go into it. It's stuff like first thing is what I'm actually going to be doing at the convention. Like, am I going to be staffing? And if I'm staffing, do I need to move around a bunch? Do I need to be able to interact directly? Do I need people to be able to see my mouth sometimes? Um, stuff like that. And then, are there any special events that I'm going to? Do I need to plan a formal version of any cosplay? Are there any voice actors I want to meet that I can maybe want to cosplay for them? Um, do I have anything new that I'm really excited about? Um, and then as the event gets closer and closer, I start also looking at the weather. Usually the weather isn't a huge factor for me just because a lot of the conventions I go to are pretty much fully inside. Um, but it can be a factor, especially if it's super hot or if I expect the venue to be particularly cold or warm. Um, and then it also depends on how I'm feeling about myself, because some of my cosplays are very revealing and some of them are not. And it just depends on where I'm at with that.
I will say, back in 2023, when I finally got to meet you in person, I didn't know it was you at first until you said my name, but I did like your Bond cosplay at Kumo
Thank you.
from
That
Seven Deadly
one's
Sins.
that one's usually a success.
It's like, wait, who's calling me? Oh, I know. It like matching the face with the voice. Um, um, now to creepy mama. Now that actually speaking of weather, how do you go about picking, as I call it, weather appropriate cosplays? Because so there's people on East Coast. I'm sure you have to deal with like rain or snow. I don't know if you have to deal with snow, but I know you have to deal with a lot of rain.
Well, I mean, in New England, we always say if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. So, weather, we try and plan for it the best we can. Medium Human does not. And yeah, we did PAX East, and it's in downtown Boston by the water, making it even colder. And they went as Juliet from Lollipop Chainsaw
While it was downpouring.
while it was downpouring. They thankfully had shorts, like Spanx shorts under it instead of the actual underwear that are supposed to be on Juliet, because they were pulling a Marilyn Monroe the entire walk from the car to the door, and they
Oh,
were
so it's like
freezing.
super windy.
Oh yeah, because the convention center that does a lot of the stuff in Boston, there's an underground, and then the top layer is like the second level of the building, but the first level of the building is technically underground. So when you leave the parking lot, you're going under, and it just becomes a wind tunnel. They love it when they have my trench coat on because they're like Batman with a cape.
I also know you have to do, because you do a lot of like special effects makeup. I'm sure there's also that like hot weather. Do you have like worry about melting, rainy weather, it
Oh
getting
yeah,
on your face, and it just like
absolutely. The two that I did for PAX East, that I was actually all of them, I was worried about makeup, but Mariska from Lollipop Chainsaw, which I did with Medium Human while they were Juliet, and then my Fortnite skin, which is Rotten Penny. It takes a lot of makeup, especially Rotten Penny. She had a lot more detail. Mariska was easier, but it was hot that day. So I'm in a morph suit, leather pants, a cotton crop top over the morph suit, and then a pleather jacket. And I'm like, I was got to be glued hairspray over the face really kept that together because without it, I would have melted just walking there.
I've never heard of got to be glued for face. Usually I hear it for like for wigs and everything or hair.
That's a very common haunter tactic is before we go into the haunt because we're running around and we're sweating. We set our makeup with hairspray.
Drag queens do it too.
Hmm. Good to know. On and on, honestly, that's a good thing. Good thing to know in the future. Cryptic, same
Just careful
question.
of the eyes, or else you will. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, unless you will what?
I was gonna say, be careful of the eyes because you can hairspray your eyelids shut. Don't do that.
Ooh.
Not good.
Oh, that sounds
Medium human done.
scary.
I don't think that was a risk with the hairspray that we used back in runway shows.
That's another one that we'll set it with makeup.
Learn something, and that's why these podcast panels are also educational. Cryptic, same question. How do you go about preparing you're picking your cosplays for nasty weather or like very super hot weather? Because sometimes here in Oregon and the Pacific Northwest, it can like 90 degrees is pretty hot weather.
Yeah. I am such a do what I say and not as I do type cosplayer because I am so preachy when it comes to like choose one that you won't have a heat stroke in, and then I choose one that I'm gonna have a heat stroke in, and I know that. But at this point in my cosplay journey, I've like curated a lot of my costumes to be able to be both really cold and really hot. Like my tramp stamp Leon that I'm doing this weekend, I have his coat with me, which is like completely lined in fur and very hot. That
That's
I'm
his
wearing.
RE4. That's his Resident Evil 4. That's right, because in the game
Yeah,
he does have fur in his coat.
yeah. And that is like the only reason I have it is partly because unfortunately, like part of my fan base that I've curated is they love to sexualize me. So part of that is for that. And then part of it is because outside the con hall, it's gonna be I think like 93 degrees this weekend. The weekend I'm wearing it, but inside the con hall here in Washington, it's like very cold historically. So
What con hall is that, if you don't mind me asking?
the Spokane Convention Center.
I don't think I've never been.
That's okay. It's very cold. So if any of you ever come to the Spokane Convention Center, bring a coat.
Duly noted.
I'll bring the faux fur.
Good. Yes.
Same question for you, AJ. How do you go about picking weather appropriate cosplays for cons? I mean, I know not everyone will pick a weather appropriate cosplay because they want to cosplay a specific character, but like you personally, how do you go about picking a weather appropriate cosplay?
I think I'm kind of with Crypt on this one because I do have some options on mine, and like I pretty much always have, for example, an umbrella with cosplay. I never use an umbrella except when I'm cosplaying because I don't want to deal with that with wigs and props and all of the complicating factors. But I the thing with cosplay is that I pretty much always run hot in them, and so I'm basically never worried about being too cold. It's usually about making sure that I'm cool enough. And so, for example, I have some of those special ice packs that they market to furries that stay cool for an extra long time.
I've heard of those.
Yeah. And so,
How do those work?
I'm Googling.
I'm not entirely sure how they work. I believe it's a specific substance
Well, no, like
inside.
they work well.
Oh, um, the ones that I got them for less cooling for a longer period of time, and I do wish that they were a bit stronger in that. I think if I had gone for example, a full vest, that would probably work better. But I usually have trouble fitting that much bulk under any given cosplay.
Oh, so it's bulky.
Yeah. They're not
Oh,
incredibly bulky, like, each individual one is probably no thicker than this, but you wrap them around your body and it adds that much circumference, and so your cosplays are gonna fit differently. if they're a close fit.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then
If
I
they have
haven't
them under
yet
a
found
silicone man chest.
Mm.
I haven't yet found a great place to actually run them under cold water again to re-solidify them and then dry them off without, going into a bathroom stall and completely removing them and doing a whole thing. I usually have a spare one in my backpack, but it can be hard to get the off one cooled off again before I put it back on.
I've heard of like the heat vest one, especially if like you're in a cold environment, you can just put that around you and you warm up. But I can hear you can get pretty hot really quick though. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm still working it out.
All right, trial and error, as we say. How much are those normally?
Many.
Oh, I mean, I imagine, especially if, like you said,
Um,
you were like wearing a fursuit, covered in head to toe in a big fursuit, and you need to, because sometimes those fans don't always work.
yeah, and I'm not a full fursuiter. I do at most a partial. But the packs. Oh, I can't remember exactly how much they were, but I remember that shipping them was actually a significant, a more significant expense than most things their size. So I think shipping alone doubled the price.
Hmm. I'll have to look that up myself. Um, back to you, creepy mama. For medium human, I know you kind of briefly answered this, but how do you go about preparing them for weather appropriate cosplays?
Um, I can't. They do not listen. Again, with the Juliet thing, they don't listen. They're going to do what they want to do, but you know what? If they have, sorry, I have Tiny Human over here next to me. If they want to do what they want to do, they're going to pay the price, and they do every time. And they complain. I'm like, you did it to yourself. Tiny Human, I have a little bit more uh, freedom to be able to weather appropriate his cosplays.
No, makes sense. And I know from some of the photos, some of the pictures I've seen, when you have his cosplays, you sometimes will also give him headphones as well.
Yes, 9 times out of 10 at conventions, he will have his headphones on because he's um, higher needs on the spectrum. So a lot of noise, a lot of different conversations all at the same time. It's too much for him. But he has a easy mama, easy. He has a ton of different headphones, and he has some that go with certain cosplays. Like anybody who watches My Hero is probably going to think I'm a dick for this, but when he's cosplaying twice, he has headphones with skull and crossbones on them. Sorry, not sorry. I'm here to hurt people. He also has orange ones for when he's Bakugo. He has blue ones for when he's Ida. He has just basic black ones. So like we try and adapt it to his cosplays. This way he's comfortable and he has the gear to go with it.
No, that's honestly a good thing, and this actually brings me to a next question because we briefly talked about it. And anyone can chime in and give their opinion on this. When it comes to kids, especially underage, and they want to pick a cosplay, like I know this is kind of a gray area and everything, and anyone who's a parent could comment as well. But I'm sure y'all can agree when it comes to a kid, especially underage, it's probably good to see their cosplay firsthand before they go out to a con because a good chunk of the time there will be kids underage who will want to cosplay from the source of media that is very, very inappropriate.
All right, so I have one again with Medium Human. They wanted to do Angel Dust. They wanted to do Juliet. I told them, 18, because I know creepy people at cons. I've worked cons for a long time. I've attended cons for a long time. I unfortunately know what can potentially happen, which is why I'm their scary dog privilege because I cosplay with them. They were Juliet. I was Mariska. I was right there with them. Um, Tiny Human is going to eventually cosplay an Egg Boy from Hazbin Hotel because his uncle Ethan is going to do Sir Pentious. He's never seen Hazbin. He knows that the a particular line from the show is one of my vocal stims, and that's about all he knows of it. But it's not an inappropriate character, so I'm okay with that because he hasn't seen the media, which is inappropriate for his age. But it is a funny character that he can do.
Oh no, the egg
I
boys the egg boys are probably
definitely
the most
feel
innocent
like
characters.
parents who aren't aware. Oh, sorry.
I said the egg boys are probably the most innocent characters and has been.
Exactly. And then that's why I'm okay with him cosplaying it. I think that parents, when they have kids who cosplay, they should definitely do some type of research into the media to find out what their kid is cosplaying and if it is appropriate for their age range.
No, I completely agree. We're gonna go down to AJ and then Cryptic. Same question for you, AJ. Do you think parents, like especially parents who have kids who are underage, do you believe they should also do the research when a kid mentions, "Hey, I want to cosplay this character"? Like, do you think a parent should do the research just to make sure that it's a safe cosplay and that their kid is also safe when they go to a con?
Um, well, there's a limited amount that I can say on this because I'm not a parent, but I do believe that as the responsible party, it is a parent's job to at least understand what these outfits are and to talk to their kids about the risks involved in cosplaying certain characters and being aware to make sure to look out for their safety in whatever capacity is appropriate. Like I said, I'm not a parent, so I try to stay out of that kind of conversation. I just wanna make sure that, you know, kids are safe.
I mean, and especially with you working and volunteering at cons, you want to make sure everybody's safe.
I do.
Especially with because I know you run some events too that you just want to make sure everyone's safe, no one gets hurt or anything like that.
Yeah. My the way I see it, my job when I am running anything at a convention is to make sure that people are not being creepy because kids are gonna do what kids are gonna do, and, it's up to the adults in the space to be adults about it. And, sometimes something inappropriate happens and we have to step in and make sure that everyone is in fact safe and that we're taking appropriate action. Um, yeah, there, like I said, there's not a lot that I can say on that 15,000 other people haven't already said.
Oh
I
no,
don't
no,
think
I
I
know
bring
you're.
anything new
I,
to it.
no, I appreciate your opinion, especially because not also getting from a parent's perspective, but getting a perspective for someone who volunteers and works at cons. You see a lot of it too, so any and all opinions, especially yours as well, definitely do matter.
Yeah,
I want to make that very
and
clear. So I do appreciate what you're saying on
it
that matter.
it does get difficult sometimes when a kid reaches like 16, 17, and they want to be an adult and they want to act like an adult, but there is a line there. And again, it's up to the actual adults in that situation to say, "Hey, no. No, we're not doing that."
See, as a parent, I can say I appreciate your input because you are in the space that these kids are entering. You have seen far more than they have, both in front and behind the scenes. So, as a parent, I definitely appreciate your input.
No, I've seen Creepy Mama's content, and she always makes sure, like she said, scary dog energy, scary guard dog energy, but also is a really good parent from what I've
That
seen.
that's actually the whole reason why I ended up on TikTok. I only made a TikTok account to monitor Medium Human when they were a minor, and then I started making content. And here I am.
Same question for you, Cryptic, as I asked both AJ and Creepy Mama.
I absolutely think that parents should research what their kids are doing. As a minor who did do a lot of cosplays that I definitely shouldn't have when I was younger. And as much as like I know at the time when I was like 13, 14, and I wanted to cosplay characters that I probably shouldn't have until I was 18, At the time, if my mom would have told me no, I probably would have been really mad because I was like an angsty 14-year-old. But I would have thanked her so much now because 90% of the sexualization problems I have on the internet are like stem from the decisions I made when I was 14. So like from that alone, I feel like your kid might be really mad at you for like a couple months, but in the long run, that's like a safety issue that we're coming into. And now that I am an adult and I go to cons and stuff, it's hard to explain that to kids, like why you shouldn't be doing it. It's not because I don't want you to have fun. It is because I was you 2 years ago, and I need you to like not be stalked when you go home. So
No, I do appreciate all of your different perspectives from someone who's worked at con, someone who's a parent themselves, and someone who was once a kid and knows what it's like. I do appreciate all your inputs and perspectives, and it does mean a lot for anyone watching this. Like I said, this series is for fun, but it's also very educational. I just want to put that out there. This is very educational for cosplayers, new, young, and old. Speaking of, one more question before we end this. Back to you, creepy mama. What kind of advice would you want to give to someone who wants to like get into cosplay, and when it comes to picking their first cosplay?
The best advice I can give, do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Do what makes you happy. And thrifting is perfectly fine. Inspiration, like inspired by cosplays, are perfectly fine. OCs are perfectly fine. If you're happy, you're not hurting anybody, and it makes you feel good about the media that like makes you happy, do it.
You know, that's some really good sound advice. Same question for you, AJ.
Um, I think that was very well said. Building on that, I'd also say um, going to a con is a huge experience. Like whether you've been before 1,000 times or if you're brand new, and if you're cosplaying for the first time, it adds an extra dimension to it that can add a lot of enjoyment, but it can also add a lot of discomfort. And make sure that you are ready to take a break if you need it. A lot of cosplayers, especially new cosplayers, will go all out in whatever capacity that means for them, um, for their cosplay, and they don't know what that might mean after 5 hours at a convention. And so be careful with your shoes. Be careful with things that are going to rub and chafe. Be careful with things that might run into your eyes, makeup, hairspray, um, wigs. Wig headache is real, and it cannot be ignored. I mean, you
Hmm.
can ignore it. I've done it, but it eventually it will make sure that it can't be ignored. Um, and so, yeah, take care of yourself and understand that you're going to find limits that you didn't expect before, and that's okay.
That I can't argue with that. Sometimes these episodes leave me speechless in a good way. So like that's definitely I'm learning a lot myself. Cryptic, same question for someone who's wanting to go about picking their first cosplay.
yeah, kind of branching off what AJ and Creepy Mama already said. I'm a whenever I go to cons, I've always been in the competitor space. I compete. That's what I do. But with that is I constantly am talking to baby cosplayers, and the one piece of advice that I've given pretty much everyone is if you're going to a con, whether you're competing or not, like as much as it's a very welcoming, it's a very safe space. There's always, unfortunately, some people who are just not the kindest, and you my biggest word of advice is, especially for your first couple of years, and this still applies to me, and I've been going to cons for 8 years now, don't go alone. Don't go by yourself. Always have somebody with you.
Agreed.
Your boundaries, are something to be upheld, and sometimes you're not comfortable. As a person, I'm still not comfortable fully sometimes standing up for myself. My boyfriend is. He'll choose someone out for me. And always having a support system is really good at cons for safety and just for your own comfort.
No, I firmly believe, as I say it, and I've been saying it for the past, I think, yeah, I think the first time I ever said it was in AJ's cosplayer interview. Bring a convention exit buddy.
I didn't want to interrupt, but may I add one extra thing? I wanted to wait until after.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, go
for
right ahead.
for new cosplayers with disabilities, it is okay if you need some type of device or mobility. I'm saying it because I'm stupid and don't do it. My kid is deaf clearing me. If you need a mobility aid or you have something that helps you, don't be afraid to use it with the cosplay, even if the character doesn't have it. I am speaking from personal experience. Use your aid if you need it. Stop death glaring me. I swear I don't
And
use my crutch 90% of the time.
building on that, if if you have friends that your cosplay exit buddy, your friend that you're going to the convention with, they're gonna know you, and you're gonna say, "Hey, friend, do you think I should bring my mobility aid today?" And if they say, "You absolute dingus, of course you should," listen to them.
Oh, no, I know when I go up to Portland this year, I'm gonna have to bring one with me because of how my right leg has been lately, and how my foot has been like causing bad flare ups and everything. And especially when I went to a con recently, I woke up the next morning and my leg is like, way my leg was hurting. Like, do I want to go and continue? Do I want to go the next day? Okay, we'll do that, but let's actually sit down and rest our leg and not make it worse. Do we really have to end up going to the hospital?
Yeah, medium human yells at me all the time because I will not use my crutch because Aizawa doesn't have a crutch. Well, we won't go spoilers yet, but uh, Aizawa doesn't have a crutch, so I won't use my arm crutch. And then the next morning I'll wake up and medium human will be like, "Mommy, your feet are purple. Shut up, give me my shoes. Don't look at them. Like, don't be mean."
That I didn't even think about asking that question, but I do. I That's why I always appreciate anyone who comes on these. If you have something else to add on, please add on to it. That I honestly think that is, and I honestly don't think anyone should feel embarrassed to having to use a mobility aid for their cosplay because these cons, not only can they emotionally take a lot out, mentally take a lot of it, they can also physically take a lot out of you too. Especially if they're like if it's like a three
Yeah,
day con.
I've had to drop days at con. Like, I'll have a full weekend pass, but I'll have to drop days and miss out because I was stupid enough to not use what I needed. I now do more often, but I definitely was stupid and I missed out on a lot of stuff and I did not have fun because I was in pain. So if you want to have fun, use it.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, I agree. Now, I don't know. Technically, ask that one. Now I'll be asking all four of you, starting with Creepy Mama and Medium Human. What is the next cosplay you're going to be to choose to do for your 2025 con season?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What cosplay are you going to pick next for your con season this year?
Okay, so what I'm doing next is Miss Argentina from Beetlejuice. That's one of the two, and the other one is Lady Demetress.
Ooh,
What
that's gonna
are
be a
your
fun
next
cosplay.
cosplays
That's be
you're
you're going to
thinking?
like the big hat for Lady Dimitrescu.
Are you going to upgrade?
Maybe finish Terza.
Maybe finish it. All right, so Medium Human said maybe finish Terzo, which is one of the papas from the band Ghost.
I have a lot started on their
They have a lot of cosplays started, but they just bounce from thing to thing to thing.
name, the dog in
Oh, the dog from
Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man?
I want to upgrade.
Okay, they're doing like a humanized version of that. And then we'll
Nice.
just figure out tiny humans to go with either one of us.
Fair. AJ, the same question. What's the next cosplay you're picking for this year?
Do you really think I plan any of this out?
No, no. Do we ever plan anything out for our cosplays?
I don't know. The next one that I have plans to wear is Bond because his English voice actor is supposed to be at SummerCon, and I'm debating going to that. But and I have a whoops, bumped my mic.
Take off
I
costume.
have I have an apron. I have a boar hat apron, and I'm
I
trying to get
seen that.
all I'm trying to get all 7 voice actors' signatures on it. I've got 2 so far. Um, so and Ben Diskin doesn't seem to be on the con circuit very much, so I'm excited about that. Um, I've got a chill chuck planned because all my friends say I have to.
I mean, I can
And
see why. It's not like a bad thing, but I've come to realize a lot of people want their friends to cosplay Chill Chuck because he's like everyone's favorite. He's personally my favorite.
look, if there's a little guy, I'm going to want to cosplay him. It's just what I do. Um, let's see. I have so many cos plans, and it really depends on when I can get them together. Because, for example, KomoriCon, I know that I'm going to be incredibly busy all weekend. And so I'm not going to do a cosplay with, for example, a ton of prosthetics or something because I will leave my hotel room in the morning and I won't be back until like 14 hours later. And it's just not going to be practical. So like last year I wore Kobe from One Piece like 2 days, and I think the other 2 days I was just in a t-shirt. I didn't have time for that.
No, I mean, and actually think about there's nothing wrong with just wearing plain clothes
Oh yeah.
at a con, whether it's all the days or like I thought
Medium
about
human does
wearing
that.
I thought about wearing it, but it's like, does my body? Well, does my body want to have to go through all that?
Yep. I had 3 cosplays for that weekend and I only ended up wearing one because it was easy. It was basically just plain clothes with some makeup. And I just didn't have time to do anything else, and I certainly wasn't doing a partial fursuit because I sweat like heck in that thing.
Mm, sweat.
Stay
I'm only
hydrated. Make sure you stay hydrated at cons.
yes, and make sure you have food because you need that. You need that water. You need that liquids and food to keep you going in your cosplay. It's like I was like, because I'm doing Geralt for KomoriCon this year. I'm not doing his full armored version. I'm just doing his simple version because I'm going to be walking around myself doing press and media. And if I learned anything from Como 2023, I got to make sure to bring water, and I'm also going to make sure to bring like medicine or something with me because I had a like day 2, I had a very bad headache. It
You'll
was
know where
not
to find me.
was not a fun. It was not a fun
And
day.
medium human does that a lot where they wear like their regular clothes. They actually do a inspired by version of Ghostface, and it's inspired by the Dead by Daylight Ghostface, but it's just their regular clothes that they happen to have that look good and fit that aesthetic for a Ghostface from Dead by Daylight, and then they throw the Ghostface mask on. If you can be comfy, be comfy.
No, comfortability I think is very important when it comes to picking a cosplay because I know there are some people when they pick their first cosplay, it's like, oh, I want to be like, I want to do a stormtrooper, I want to do one of the characters from Warhammer 40K.
Talking about people who pick really difficult cosplays for their first, but don't Death Lair me. I already got myself. Totally didn't wear it.
With your realistic insane asylum head cage from 13 Ghosts.
That thing's like 35 pounds, and people are amazed when they realize it's real steel.
You haven't, yeah, have you? You haven't shown AJ yet, huh? Can you bring it
No,
up again one more time?
the cage. Absolutely. I I know it's heavy. It's steel. I have to be careful where I put this thing. Almost everybody I know has cracked an ankle on this, including me.
Oh.
And that's full steel.
Can't
You
Gosh.
hear that?
A little bit.
A little bit. I think the background noise dampening is getting in the way, but it
I'm trying to get as
looks
close
like
to the
full
microphone.
steel, and it looks solid, and I fully
It's real.
believe that weighs 35 pounds.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I first got it, I lived by a beach, and I just put it on my back porch and let it rust because of the salt water in the air, and I was like, oh, this is
I mean, it's
so
rust. It's rusted
heavy
in
as
the. Well, I
hell.
mean, they use paint in the movie, but go big or go home.
But listen, don't be me. And I tell people that do as I say, not as I do. I'm telling you these things because I have done the stupid and can tell you don't do that.
You don't want to get hurt going big. I mean, I get people want to go big. Or they want to go big or go home. I get that, but you also got to remember if this is your first time wearing a big piece like that, just know that there are going to be repercussions in the end, and you're probably going to be sore. You're going to look like Mr. Krabs. You're going to be sweating.
I always
All that.
have bruises right here because of where it will dig in. If I try and lean, it will dig into my shoulders, and I have bruises.
But Wayne, what if
Also,
as a
don't wear a
cosplayer,
bulky thing to a concert.
what if as a cosplayer I'm just built different and that won't
Oh, I
affect me
mean,
because
well,
I
I
believe
mean,
in myself and the power of friendship, and that means that I'll be able to do it even when everyone else is telling me not to because they tried and failed.
fair.
Then you will learn a very valuable lesson.
Oh yes. Cryptic, same question. What's the next cosplay you're going to be picking for this year?
Entirely dependent on my time and my budget, but I have like 3 that I swear to God I will finish hopefully by the end of the year. I want to do Ellen Ripley for Komori Con, the Trickster from Dead by Daylight for Komori Con, and then maybe, hopefully, I want to remake my Gerudo Link cosplay because that was one that I chose to do at 16, which I probably shouldn't have, but it's like not well done. It was good for being 16 years old, but I have better standards for myself now.
It's a learning process.
It is. I have a beautiful Cricut machine now, so I can like make the little designs on it actually look good and not kind of just badly sewn on.
I have seen people have been using crickets a lot lately for their cosplays.
I love my Cricut. I made my Roxanne Wolf out of my Cricut, and I owe my life to it.
Ooh, very
I didn't even
nice.
think of that, and I have a Cricut. Holy Christ!
Oh, it's beautiful. I love her. Her name is Susan.
My
I got a
sis, my
3D
sis,
printer, so I'm excited.
my sister has a Cricut, and she uses that for like shirts and cups and everything. I never would have thought that you can use it for
See, that's
cosplay.
Dude, it's a
what I
lifesaver.
had mine for. Now I have a whole new outlook on my Cricut.
It's so nice.
Very nice. So that should about do it. This went on for an hour as of right now. Like, I know this was gonna be super long. Oh yeah, I got Roden. Anyone want to add in any last minute thing, advice? Anyone, show of hands, who wants to add in any last minute thing, just pertaining to tonight's topic?
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of yourself. I joke, but seriously, you are not built different. You have human limitations, and that's okay and expected. And some of us have more limitations than others, and that's also okay and expected. Take care of yourself. It's not worth injuring yourself or causing major problems just so that you can wear a cosplay for, a couple hours.
I give props to those who I give props to the people who can wear like a cosplay all day, especially like for Dragon Con, that all day 3 day event in Atlanta. Like I give props to people who can just wear cosplay for like 12 hours. I guess now everyone here can drop their social media so people know where to find you. Stay up to date with your cosplays and cons. Creepy Mom, where can people find you on social media if they want to stay up to date with your cosplays and potentially see you at the next convention?
I'm sorry. After you said creepy mama, everything went to bad synth band again. Can you do that one more time?
Oh, yeah, I can. Where can people find you on social media if they want to stay up to date with your cosplays and your convention stuff?
So social media, you can find me Creepy Mama 666 on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Was it is it Creepy Mama 666 on Twitch? Okay. Well, it's all in my link in my bio on my TikTok, all my other stuff. So if you just want to go right to my TikTok, you'll find everything there. And uh shameless self-promotion. I'm gonna actually be at Too Many Games Con. I was an announced guest for the convention as a content creator, and that's my very first ever guest appearance at a con.
Well, first off, congrats, and I hope that goes. I hope that goes well and fun for you.
Thank you. I'm excited and terrified at the same time.
What's the event called again?
Too many games, and it's all together. So T
Too
O
many
O
games.
M A N Y GAMES. Too many games.
Did all right?
There's actually going to be a lot of really cool people there.
did the convention on their
Right?
like Instagram announce that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be
So
sure
it's
to
on
I'll
their
be sure to make
Instagram.
I'll be sure to share that on my Instagram story so people will know about it. I'm
And I
always
will
one for
have
promoting
medium and tiny
cosplayers.
human with me.
Nice. Well, like I said, I always like promoting cosplayers. That's why I always like doing this thing at the
Oh,
end.
yes. Medium Human has their social media. I wasn't sure if they wanted to share it, but they do want to share it. So any of the videos that they're in on my page, they're always tagged. But theirs is chaotic, and it's spelled CHA0TIC.C0SPLAYS 666. Again, if you want to make it easier, you can go to my page. If you see them in a video, click it. They're always tagged. And
Nice.
Tiny Human is too small for any social media yet.
Understandable. AJ, where can people find you on social media if they want to stay
No.
up to date with your cosplays and convention stuff?
Well, if I were
You
better at keeping up to date on my social media, you would learn a lot more. But you can find me on
oh,
Instagram at solstice.cosplay. I'm also on Blue Sky at minijodpossum.bsky.social. Bumped my mic. And I have a shop. This is what I do for a living. And if you want to buy anything from me, you can reach me at solsticehandspun.com. That's HANDSPUN.com. If you have seen, I can't believe this. I made the Furby Pope hood, and I'm doing customs of that. Please buy them from me so that I can support myself and my partner.
Wait, Furby, what?
Furby Pope. You heard
Fur,
that correctly. This is my
Furby,
life.
a Furby Pope hood.
That's beautiful.
I gotta see pictures of this now. That sounds
There
awesome.
are pictures. It's a very active social media. I believe he's on Instagram and TikTok. I made that on commission and now I'm doing them custom. You're
Well,
welcome.
well, if you want a Furby Pope hood, you know where to go. I love that. Um, Cryptic, same question. Where can people find you on social media to stay up to date with your cosplays and convention stuff?
Literally anywhere you can watch content, you can find me as Cryptic Soda, possibly with two A's depending on the platform. Also, just a small shameless self promo. I'm publishing a poetry book in like 2 months, so please look at my socials for that. Thank you.
Nice. You all know where you can find me everywhere on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm mainly more active on Instagram. You can find me on my Discord. I'm in the I'm kind of in the early stages of wanting to write and direct my own fan films, animated stuff, and gaming stuff, which I know it's gonna take a while because that's time, money. So that's gonna be in the idea phase for a while. And you can also see me at, Wayne the Unknown. I'll have my link in my YouTube bio. And yeah, I guess I might as well start promoting myself now too.
I
Again,
com-
creepy mom. Wait, what?
I completely forgot. I have another thing to promote.
Oh yeah.
Last week was the premiere of the first student film that I was in. It's called The Quiet Thing. It came from Orange and Black Film Club, and you can see it now on YouTube for free.
Ooh, it's at the YouTube name Orange and Black Film Club.
Mm-hmm.
I will subscribe to that. And I love fan films.
It's a student
I was gonna
student
say,
film, completely original content.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's if you can give a quick little like what's it about?
So it's about someone who has had an accident in a factory, and basically her bosses tell her that she may or may not lose her hearing, um, whether it's now or decades from now. And the story covers the next month or so of her life. And so I play her older brother.
Ooh, well, that's
That's
good.
so sick.
I would definitely watch that. So I'll be sure to put that in the description as well, the channel name and everything, so people can check it out. Because I always again love promoting any type of film project, whether it's student, fan film, you name it. Um,
I
with
can
that
ask
being,
for it, but if you're gonna link it,
oh yeah, no. With that being said, I'm Ray the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.